Day 4,
All
Car
right, day
Audio
4,
School.
Car Audio Fundamentals. This will teach you how to become your own technician, repair your own stuff, or do your own install, and or learn how to start your own business. This is my online resume of skills. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. And the goal here is to keep you from going into a shop. So yesterday, this is day 4, we talked about Ohm's law, resistance, current, and voltage. And I want to go over that just a little bit more before we got into what power is. So going back to resistance, you can think of it like a clogged sink or a clogged tub. The gunk inside of that tubing is the resistance that stops the current flow. So one way you can think about it is rubbing your hands together. And the friction that you create while rubbing your hands together and it starts to get hot, that is a representation of why the wiring in vehicles or from battery to amp or from amp to speaker would get hot, because the current flowing through, the pressure and the current flowing through the pipe has to fight against the resistance of the gunk on the wall. And while it's passing through, it's rubbing on it. And that friction creates the heat that heats up wires. So in other situations that we'll get into later, there's not any one time where you would want the wire to become the fuse. And how does that happen? Well, the fuses we'll get into later, is a little, there's several different fuses, but there's a small filament in it that is very thin. And before the wire becomes the fuse from all the friction, the fuse will blow up or disconnect, because that wire will actually literally glow and break apart. So that's another analogy on resistance that I have. The next thing we want to do is current. And for this example, think of current as the amount of water flowing through a pipe. A tiny trickle is a small current, while a rushing river is a large current in electricity. Current is the amount of the electrical charge, electrons, moving through the wire or through the pipe or through the water hose or through the clogged sink with the gunk in it, the resistance in it. Eventually I'm going to get visuals for you, but we're going to deal with just the cell phone camera right now. So that's that. And we're kind of going over this again just so we can get back to, if there's the resistance, and then there's the flow of water, and then there's the pressure of water, which what we're going to talk about next. Then what work does it do? But we'll talk about voltage real quick. So think of voltage like the water pressure in a pipe. The higher the pressure, the stronger the push that makes the water flow. the electricity voltage is the push that makes the electrons electricity flow through the wire. And then as a visual, I would show you an animation of water, flowing through the pipe. But I was thinking last night, and we don't have a representation for like pressure. So think of like a water pump as the pressure, or one of those old school wells where you have to actually pump up the water to the surface. I don't have one, but it looks like a car jack. Think of it that way. And you're pumping the voltage or the pressure through the pipes. So that's really just a recap of Ohm's law from yesterday. So with all that being said, well, what is power? So power is all about how much work electricity can do and how quickly it can do it. So I have some examples here for you. So example number one is a water wheel. Imagine a water wheel. The voltage, the push of the water is like the height of the water wheel. So think of like a pinwheel, or like a water boat, tugboat, where it has that big, or a turbine. Think of it like a turbine, and it has the water flowing over the top of it to actually turn it. When the water hits the turbines, it actually creates a twist or a torque on it, a push. So that's the voltage or the current actually doing work, actually turning the wheel. Current, the flow of electricity, is like the amount of water flowing over the wheel. The more water means more force. So the more pressure applied through the hose, the water or current will fall on the wheel, and the faster that happens, the faster the wheel will turn. Power is how much electrical energy is being used per second and is measured in watts. So another analogy, think of a car engine. Voltage is like the force of the explosion of the cylinders. Current is like how often the explosion happens, pretty much how much fuel is being used. And then power is how much force the engine is generating to move the car. So the pistons, I forget what it's called. Shoot me. I'm going to hate myself for that later, but yeah, I'm lost. Somebody help me. But the pistons turn the something that turns the transmission. It's right there. The camshaft. The pistons turn the camshaft that turn the transmission that turns the wheels. So that's what we're thinking about. The formula for this is power, watts, equals voltage, or volts, times current, or amperes. And then in general, power is how much work can be done by electricity. And then we already went through, it depends on the push, voltage, and the flow, current. And then high power means more energy is being used per second. And all of this is coming out of the battery. Well, initially to start the engine. After that, the alternator takes over, and that's what's running your car. Your battery is only there to start the vehicle. After that, the alternator takes over the electrical charging system for the whole vehicle. And even that gets complicated because we have to remember that when your car was first manufactured, the alternator was chosen because of all the electronics in the car. It would sustain that with headroom. So let's say that out of 100%, that alternator is supposed to supply 80, 75, 80, 85% of the electrical charge for the whole vehicle with headroom being what's left over, that 10 or 15 or 20% for, we'll say aftermarket stuff, but we'll really say strains on the vehicle. So when you added like another radio or you add an amplifier, the overall current draw for the whole vehicle is now being taxed, and you're going into that overhead or that headroom that you have. So we'll talk about that because you can drain your car's battery that way. This is why when the bass hits, the lights dim. Is why your car will struggle at a stoplight while the bass and all the music and everything is playing, because you're taking more draw on that battery and on that alternator than it was actually designed to do. So even that we'll talk about later, but we made it through day 4. So this was a recap of Ohm's law of voltage, current, and resistance. And then now we understand with those 3 how power works and how that is incorporated into this whole electrical system that is your vehicle, be it a boat, be it a car, truck, anything. So thank you. All of the donation stuff will be in the captions. Just a reminder, the more you donate, the more tools I can get, like all data, like direct tech. And these things show me the diagrams of how cars are set up, their electrical system, and what wiring to look at to get to whatever you may have a question about, or what I may have to inform you that you know, I won't say don't know, but how to fix whatever issue you may have. Pretty soon you'll be able to call me once I change over to my desktop from my camera. Excuse me, you can call in and ask questions, and we'll help you get your car straightened out. Till tomorrow.